My name is Lauren Clausen. I will be discussing conflict management on an individual intervention level to help a person understand their approach to a conflict and recognize other approaches that may be beneficial to different scenarios. Conflicts occur in all aspects of an individual's life, including the workplace. Unmanaged conflicts can reduce productivity and negatively impact the work environment. Gary McLean states that conflict implies a difference of opinion, and it is only through some level of conflict that innovation and creativity can flourish. Because conflict can provide an opportunity for innovation and creativity, it becomes important that we do not simply resolve conflict, but rather explore and handle it in a healthy way. The purpose of conflict management is to encourage healthy ideas and originality while limiting the negative impacts conflict can have on a situation. Conflicts stem from several variables. Features of conflict range from individuals who think differently, different perceptions, different goals, limited resources, personal characteristics, or even different values. However, it is how conflict is managed that determines the consequences. The Thomas-Kilmann Conflict Mode Instrument is a tool used in order to help individuals focus on mutual interest of a solution relying on collaboration. This tool assists with an individual becoming more aware of choices they make, as well as others, in a conflict situation. By obtaining this knowledge, a person has the ability to lead conflict situations in a constructive direction. It is important to understand default patterns in yourself to improve self-awareness and determine the best approach in a situation. The TKI chart suggests that every conflict can be compared by assertiveness and cooperativeness. By looking at the chart, it can be perceived that compromising may be the ultimate goal. However, that is not the case. Each approach has scenarios where it is most effective, which is why it is important for an individual to understand their default approach and use it to improve their self-awareness. Accommodating occurs when cooperation is high, but this style may work against a person's own goals or objectives. This approach is best used when a party is an expert or an effective future relation may be necessary. Avoiding is when an issue is avoided. An individual using this approach is not helping others to reach a goal, but is also not assertively pursuing their own. It can be effective when issues are emotionally charged and space is needed. Collaborating occurs when both parties' goals are achieved. This approach is effective when in complex scenarios to determine an original solution. Competing is acting confident to achieve an individual's goals without seeking cooperation from the other party. This is the most effective in emergency situations when time is of the essence. Compromising is when neither party fully achieves their own goal. This is most effective when both sides have equally important goals or a temporary solution is necessary. By understanding the different approaches in this chart, a person can understand different workplace environments and examine individual level outcomes related to conflict management culture to adapt their own style accordingly. As with anything, there are pros and cons to conflict management. Strengths for conflict management are broad. Conflict management, when handled appropriately, can have numerous positive effects. By applying conflict management techniques to a situation, an individual has an opportunity to grow, learning more about themselves and others. It opens the door to accomplish overall goals for a person to feel more accomplished. In tune with accomplishing their goals, a person's self-esteem and confidence is higher, allowing them to feel better about themselves and what they can do. By addressing the issue maturely, an individual can feel alleviated by the acknowledgement of the issue. The overall mentality of a person who utilizes conflict management is healthy, creating a positive attitude for those around the individual. However, when conflict management is not appropriately addressed, there are consequences. A person may not be ready to address their conflictual behaviors, which makes conflict management difficult to accomplish. Forcing a person to accept these behavior issues is impossible if they are not ready. Lack of trust can be an issue with conflict management. If a person does not trust the individual responsible for conflict management, they will not be open to discuss truths as they see it. If a conflict is not handled timely, it has the ability to cause tension within an individual or group, ultimately stopping a goal. Depending on the conflict, it may be time-consuming to complete the conflict management process, which can deter people from addressing an issue. While a timeline is important to strive for a goal, it can be difficult for some to address an issue because of the time it would take to alleviate it. Now let's look at a few scenarios where conflict management can be applied. In this scenario, your coworker feels like their suggestion was the best and was overlooked by everyone on the team. By not speaking to you or other team members, the departmental goal is no longer being achieved because of the tension. By understanding their approach to avoid this conflict, it may be a good decision to discuss with them the reason you supported the option you did. If your coworker can understand why you made the choice you made, they may see things from a different perspective than initially considered. This also will give your coworker an opportunity to compromise their internal feelings and work towards the common goal for the department. In this scenario, a coworker is refusing to recognize their part in the conflict. They are not ready to acknowledge their conflictual behavior. By understanding this approach to the conflict, you may determine the best course of action for the greater good of the department is to utilize an accommodating approach. This will allow for no additional tension within the department and cover the department for any audit findings that may occur if the documents were not included. Since you will need to continue a future relationship with this coworker, you may find it best to perform the work yourself. While it may require additional work on your behalf, the greater good is still accomplished.